through your message, through your music and your art. And we need people like Julian Lennon in our world offering us, these great recordings and this wonderful book, and also your great positive attitude and your vision about how we need to take care of this world. So thank you for all you do on that front.
That's too kind of you. Too kind of you to say. Thank you. I've always been, whether it's in front of the camera or behind, I've always been a bit of a grafter. I'm a workaholic these days, and which I don't mind for the most part. I could do with a few break. Never mind a few more breaks. Break. But again, it's for me. It's always been about doing the best job that I can do in whatever job I'm doing. Whether that's on the charity side of things with White Feather Foundation, whether that's writing with the children's books, or whether that's documentary or production work or music. Right. It's not. It's never been about the fame. It's just about getting the work done, and hopefully people like and or respect that, and things continue to grow in that manner. But that's what it's about for me. It's not being in front of the camera or any of the glitz. It's okay once in a blue moon, but grafting and getting on with the work is the most important thing for me.
Yeah, and Cindy Walden Way is saying only you can give yourself a break. So that's a gospel according to Cindy. So thanks for sharing those words.
Well, yes, indeed. There's one coming up, that's for sure. That's for absolutely sure.
Excellent. Do you celebrate the holidays?
See, my thing, what I've always kind of done for years is I tend not to have, at least in the last 10, 20 years, I tend not to have, Easter holidays or summer holidays. I really don't. I've always managed somehow, whether I liked it or not, to work throughout the year. And what I have always done in the past was I try and block a month out, mid-December to mid-Jan, and just shut everything down. So I'll work through all of the year, and then I'll take that time out for myself to really shut everything down and breathe. But over the over the last few years, the workload has been pretty heavy, and I put that on myself. That it's very much about following the opportunities that arise, right. And I think we've talked about this before, that I'm very organically orientated. So if something feels right at the right time, you've got to go with the flow of that. Otherwise you miss the moment. So
that's right.
Especially with the photography and exhibitions, which take, and documentaries too, but the exhibition stuff, those take, not weeks, not even months, but even, up years in advance. We have to plan this stuff.
I don't know how you have the patience for that. I mean, it's brilliant work. I guess that motivates you to see it through.
I mean, predominantly, especially, I don't know, I've done over 40 exhibitions worldwide now, and that's me just grafting, trying to get the recognition through the photography work. Right. But the real one that brought a smile to my face and real joy, and the one I was most proud of, was the exhibition I did in Venice last year at the International Center of Photography, where it was a retrospective, alongside Helmut Newton. He was showing downstairs, I was upstairs. And it was a retrospective of all the work that I've done since I began this mad photography journey. But it was a joy to see everything up in this beautiful location, in Venice. And it was just very, very, very special. We made a little documentary about it, so that'll be available at some point. But we also built out a virtual gallery because I wanted people to be able to see the show even if they couldn't make it to the event itself. So
Yeah.
that's still up and available and online, and will always be there for people to view. I take a gander every once in a while, because my ambition, which we are fulfilling slowly but surely, is to take that particular exhibition called Whispers and tour it, to other museums and locations around the world. And we've got a
Yeah.
few lined up for the next year or two. So all good stuff, but a lot of planning in that, and thankfully I've got a great team around me, with my manager, partner in work crime, Rebecca Warfield, and
Yeah. She's
Tasula, and
amazing.
Steve, then Maggie. There's a lot of, it takes a village, as they say.
That it does for sure. I encourage everyone, if you haven't had a chance to see it, to go online, and equally even more so, to pick up a copy of this incredible book. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But congratulations, first of all, on this EP. This is, I guess, it truly qualifies as an indie release, but
Yeah.
it feels relevant. It feels timeless at the same token. The material is absolutely stellar. We're going to go through each track and share some of the music, but tell us about the background of the songs themselves. I was really fascinated to hear the story behind it.
Well, funnily enough, I've only done a few interviews really about this. We haven't done much promo as such. Just
Yeah.
bits. They after Jude, I did Jude, that album, because of BMG, who kind of reeled me in to do another album, because after Everything Changes, I had said I'm done with albums.
Right.
I was just sick and tired of putting so much work into it. Not only just the writing and recording, but the production, but emotionally and time as well.
Right.
And without proper, excuse me,
Yeah.
sponsorship or support, it's, even though you've got the internet at your fingertips,
Right.
it's still difficult to be seen and heard. It really is.
No doubt.
A lot of it comes down to word of mouth. If someone hears something and likes it, they'll speak about it. It's a bit old school in that respect.
That's true.
But I just, after the last album, again, Jude, which I loved,
It's a
and
great
that
record.
really, thank you, that really is, as for the foreseeable, the last album I'll ever do. I still have so many tracks that dating back to even before the lot.
Right.
I still have demos from that time, that haven't seen the light of day, that I still think are pretty good tracks.
No doubt.
And I don't know. There could be 100 tracks. I haven't counted them, but there's a lot. And I just felt, these tracks have never really had a home.
Yeah.
They just didn't sit on any of the albums. Because again, for me, an album has to resemble, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there has to be a flow and a timeline to it. But
Right.
Again, none of these tracks that you hear on this EP, at least, just sat quite right. And I thought, well, I'd like to be able to, because I've been doing also so much photography and documentary stuff and other bits and bobs. I just, I do miss music. So
Yeah.
I thought, all right, maybe I don't have time to sit down and write just now, but there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to finish.
Love that.
And I would like to be able to do that. I really would like to be able to give all of the demos that I've ever done, a proper chance at being finished and heard. So my ambition at the moment is, in between all the other work that I do,
Yeah.
is to take a little bit of time out here and there and along the way, to again work with Justin Clayton, who's my oldest friend in the world. We've known each other since we were 11. We've written together on pretty much every or most albums, and
Right.
he's certainly co-produced the EP and Jude with me, and we write and work together all the time. So the idea, was to take. I thought, okay, let's start with a couple of favorites, which was Because I Hope, Keep on Searching, and I Won't Give Up, which was more recent. It was more 5-10 years ago, but the actual verse of I Won't Give Up, I'd written over 20 years ago at least,
Yeah.
but never found the right chorus for it. And it was actually working one day with going to visit Andrew Watt, famed producer these days,
Yeah.
and Lewis
In
Bell,
demand.
who was and Lewis Bell, who was engineering the session that they were doing. And Andrew said to me, "Have you got anything you haven't finished?" And I went, "Oh, da-da-da." And he immediately came up with an idea for the chorus, and so we finished that too. So I thought, you know what, this would be nice. This is because there's always been a lot of the album work that I've done is, recognized as quite heavily produced sometimes, which I have to say I love,
Yeah.
but
It
there's
works.
also the other side of the coin, which is that kind of raw indie approach, which, Justin and I decided that's the way to go this time. These were, rough and tumble demos
Yeah.
that thanks to technology, we were able to slowly but surely clean up. And it's thanks to the likes of the film Get Back, and the
Right.
technology that's around to be able to isolate things. So we worked on the 4 tracks over the last 6 months to a year. It took a lot of work to clean them up. I mean, even today, though, now there's new apps that you can literally throw a track into and it'll separate everything for you in a second.
So you're not having heart failure going, "Oh no, why did I let it go? I could have applied this app to it."
The thing is now the technology really is there for us to be able to move on and clean up other earlier demos in a heartbeat, which will be a real time saver, because the intention, at least in my playbook, is that we'll have possibly another 4 tracks, EP tracks, to go in springtime as well.
Amazing.
And I'd like to be able to do that until I've finished every demo.
I love that.
That I've ever done, that I still love, that still has meaning to me, that there's still some emotion attached to. And I've already got the next 4 kind of lined up in my head of what we're going to attack, to clean up and fix up. But I must let you know and must tell you that the vocals and a lot of the other work are the original back bedroom vocals. I mean, literally, my home studio in the guest room. It's just me singing the song for the first time, trying to get the emotion across. And I find more often than not that I'll get a good vocal on the first take, because it'll be real, it'll be honest, and it'll be the most emotional attempt that I'll have. After that, it's like kind of fixing things.
Right.
If you fluffed up here or fluffed up there, you want to give it a few other tries. But I'm all for trying to get the first take. And a lot of these
you wouldn't know it was dated. You wouldn't know necessarily through demos. That's what's extraordinary, I think, about this EP.
Well, it does tend to sit well, and what I do love about the fact that they are kind of not overproduced, kind of very indie orientated, and as I've said before, along the lines of XTC, along the lines of Squeeze, for I Hope, along the
Yeah.
lines of the
Elvis Costello
Police,
remind me of some
Elvis
of the great
Costello,
pop.
yeah, Elvis, yeah, yeah, the Police too.
Yeah,
You know, so these are all uh, were and still are great influences from way back when, you know, when I wrote this stuff, which was literally late 80s, early 90s.
yeah.
um
I
you
guess.
know, and then they would just put in a, you know, on a DAT or cassette or whatever, in a box, and see you later, sayonara. But you know, I think we talked about this, that you know, the whole thing with Jude was I'd found a box of tapes that I didn't know existed. And
That's
this,
right.
I know a lot of people say that, but it's the reality is, and it's true, that they were in the my business manager of that time. They were in his basement, rotting away down in a damp basement. And when we parted ways, I finally received this box with all these tapes. And I'm going, oh my god, that's where they were. I
Yeah,
thought I'd lost them in you know, moving from LA back to Europe. You know, things do go missing in when you're transferring stuff from place to place. So I was so thankful, because you know, now I can have Adam and really try and, you know, follow through and bring them fully through to fruition, and and then be able to move on and start writing, you know, new stuff. Obviously,
you know, it's so fortuitous for us fans too, music fans in general, because again, this is material that doesn't sound second rate. I mean, I try to do some math on the calendar, and I think the era of some of these demos probably emanated from, you know, around the time when you were writing and recording "Help Yourself" and "Mr. Jordan," but
yeah,
but they stand on their own, and I could see how potentially they wouldn't necessarily fit. I mean, I can see kind of the mindset, but it's not
yeah.
because these aren't up to snuff or these aren't you know, stellar tracks. Far from it. It's just you didn't
I
feel the
yeah,
compatibility.
exactly. And you know, I just, you know, it's I think I'm not necessarily, I'm known more for the mid tempo and kind of ballady stuff.
Yeah,
Whereas these I got excited about when Justin and I, you know, heard them again for the first time in however many years. You know, that these were great little up tempo ditty pop rock things, you
yeah,
know, that just kept my toe tapping. And I'm going, oh, I've missed this.
yeah,
You know, and for me, these really became fun. It was like, instead of having to think about an album and all that that entails, you know, this was like, okay, we're going to have some fun now. Let's clean these up. Let's, you know what? Let's make some quick videos, you know, a little content, as you might say, but also, you know, people don't necessarily see a lot of me these days.
that's right.
I try to avoid the camera as much as possible. So the idea of doing 4 videos in an afternoon for these 4 tracks was, you know, a little mad and a very last minute.
But they're
Um,
wonderful. We're going to share each one
but
of them, segments of it, because we want them hear and see these. I mean, I think it speaks volumes.
yeah, well, thank you. You know, I just figured, okay, we've got a kind of warehouse downtown LA.
Yeah,
There's a white room and a black room, um, and uh, I want to try and make each one different, but they're going to have to be the performance videos too,
yeah,
because it you know, because of the time limit, and also, you know, I've mentioned that it's probably costs the same as a secondhand scooter to
yeah,
make these 4 videos,
yeah.
maybe a little more, but close to.
Give or take.
So it was cheap and cheerful, and the idea was to make them look different, each one different, without using too much jazz, but using traditional editing techniques, and one being kind of more statically shot and edited, and then I hope being always kind of moving. and then Keep on Searching being slightly whacked out, and
Yeah.
then I Won't Give Up. You know, I had always envisaged this kind of black warehouse with a couple of spotlights, very harsh, high contrasted stuff. And that's how they turned out. You know, I probably finished editing this stuff, you know, a week ago.
They're phenomenal.
Or
Yeah.
just over, you know.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. We're going to share each one elements of it for sure. And I do want to tell the fans out there, for those of you, the signed version for the EP may be sold out, but click the right arrow. There's a limited amount of the EP as well. And you're not going to find these in stores or online. When they're gone, folks, they're gone. And I'm telling you, this is brilliant music. You're going to hear it. It is a great day to be a Julian Lennon fan, for that matter. Any music fan or those that appreciate great art, or all of the above. And most fortunate to, you know, present this limited EP entitled Because, pressed at 45 RPM. I'm going to play the lead track, but we're going to talk about also the interesting concept on how this is pressed too, which is pretty incredible. But it's only available at this time until they're sold out through the Rock and Roll Channel Talk Shop Live. So click on the link, and again, click that right arrow. There are quantities available, but not a lot. And these are absolutely outstanding songs. And let's hear the opening and title track from Julian Lennon's brand new EP, Because. Sam, if you would, please roll the digital.
Forgive the way you let me go, and I was sure you were so true, but I've been left here all alone to face the truth. How could you be so cold? This woman's not so bold, because you lied, I never trust again, because you left, things come around again, because you hate, so I hate you too, because it's you. Forget sometimes it's hard to shoot at you. Don't you know respect? It's easier said than done. The battle doesn't count unless the war is won. Because you lied, I'll never trust again.
All right, this is the part where the fans get really pissed off at me. He goes, Steve, why did you cut that track off? And you know how it works here on Talk Shop Live? You have to buy the EP to hear the rest of it. That's kind of how it works. And trust me, it just dials up the intensity, great solo. And just some notes. I'm not doubling down on what you said, Jules, but I love the video. It's such a great track, solely written by you. And amazing to me, it's been sitting on the shelf, but but that production, love the production. It doesn't sound like a demo tape, and it's not overproduced, but there's these subtle nuances You can feel a little bit of the Police vibe as far as the drums a little bit. There's an artist, I don't know if you're familiar with her, who's magnificent, from Canada, from the 80s and 90s, Del Bello. And I listened to the background vocals, has like this haunting, really cool effect too. But again, I mean, you can't point this to any specific song you've written or anything else, but it feels warm and familiar. And it's just, man, the song really breathes. I mean, you serve the song.
I tell you what, I think it was partly to do with not trying too hard or not trying to please people. It was about having a bit of fun trying to write some songs, you know, that again, that you could tap your toe to, and, you know, people could, you know, groove to. You know, that's certainly what it felt to me, because they didn't feel like there was pressure on, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, etc., etc. So I think that was an important lesson for me to relearn, in fact, in moving forward, that, you know, enjoy the process, because that's partly what it's all about, the creative process. And then as I you know, I often hear one of my gurus, Rick Rubin, where he says, listen, all you can do is the work, and then let it fly.
Yeah,
you know,
it's out of your hands at that
point. Let it go out into the world, and just you know, move on next. So that's where I am. Let's go. Where are we going? You know.
So grateful that you're sharing this with everyone. No question about it. Let's check out another track from Jill's brand new EP, because another great one. Here's I Hope. Sam, if you once again, please roll the digital.
Somebody tell me the news. Trapped like a scratch on this groove. Focused on love is my plane. Keeping the dove and I flame. I flame. Down, and I hope you never gonna bruise me. Yeah. I hope you never fall in love again, and I hope I'm yours forever. Love is all in, or you lose. Perfect for singing the blues.
Yeah, you referred to like Squeeze and XTC. Boy, they're like the masters of the hooks and just melodic chord progressions. What's interesting about this one is it really stuck out to me, and we don't really get technical, you know, speaking to musicians specifically, but the choice of chords and the progression to me really make this track so distinctive. You know, it really stands out.
Well, I've no idea how it happened. Let me tell you.
It's okay.
Because I had to relearn the songs for the video.
Right.
You know, to be able to show that I was actually playing what I was playing.
Yeah.
Um, and we'd actually recut that track a number of times with different producers, but it never just didn't sit quite right. And now just Justin and I took it back to the bare bones, and it worked. You know,
Yeah.
so no, again, very much. You know, as we've discussed before, you know, I'm a major fan of, you know, Keith Jarrett, Steely Dan. I mean, the list is, you know, it's always when I'm trying to remember something, I forget it, of course.
Yeah. Right.
But there are many great artists like that that I just, you know, fall for because of unique and interesting chord changes, progressions, and melodies, and passing chords. And you know, I don't want to be an old grump, but you don't really hear that stuff today, in at least in mainstream music at
That's
all.
true.
You know, it's hard to find that kind of something that makes you go, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
you
the
know,
industry that's forced that issue. I don't think it's just us collectively showing our age. It's just, you know, kind of that format and formula that puts pressure on artists to stay in that
yeah.
lane, you know?
Yeah. And you know, the other thing I wanted to do, which I forgot to, I wanted to give a shout out to the band who were in the video, because they were so great.
Yeah.
Because we it was I think it was last year. It could have been the year before.
It's a blur, right?
Time. I don't know what that is. It means nothing.
Yeah.
I rehearsed with these guys for about 10 days to do some promotional work for Jude, really.
Yeah.
And they were one of the best bands I've ever played with. I mean, I walked into the room and they already had the tracks down. And I actually was slightly worried, going, oh, geez, they're really good. And I haven't played live or sang live for a long time, because as I said that,
yeah,
you know, I when I record stuff, I sing it probably once, maybe 5 times at the most.
Yeah.
Done, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, these guys were great. You'll have to look all their names up and their connections, you know, in the links that we have. But they were so fabulous, and because we worked so well together, it was literally, you know, maybe a month ago that I was in LA and I'd had the idea about doing the videos, and I just decided to pick up the phone and say, hey, what are you guys doing in a week?
Is that right?
Are you free for the afternoon?
What a great
Can you
call.
come in? And they said, yeah, you know, we'll learn the stuff, and they did beautifully so.
Yeah.
So a shout out to everybody, you know, Neera, Keith, Max, and and oh my God, why am I blanking?
Andreas,
Patrick. Thank you, Patrick.
Gotcha.
Matera, yeah, who's a great player and MD. Yeah, and of course to Anna, the producer, and the team that helped me pull that off in an afternoon. I mean, it was 11 in the morning till 7:30 at night.
Yeah, people don't realize. They think it's just like a one-shot deal. You step in, you know, make sure you get, you know, you get the hair and the makeup, and then
downtown LA when it was 90 degrees and no air conditioning.
Thank you very much.
But we did it. We and I love the results, and I hope people enjoy them too.
They're brilliant. They're striking videos. They really are.
They're simple, cheap. You know, cheap and cheerful. This is cheap and cheerful, but fun. And you know, they seem to put a smile. Well, they put a smile on my face. So
they do to me. I know fans are responding to it right here, man. We could see it. Barbara's saying your mom would be so proud of you, and all the great work that you're doing. Melody, so appreciative of you being here. Peggy's flat out just saying you are so beautiful. That sounds like a song. There we go.
So beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. But
Can't
but
you
no
see?
no covers album coming. We got to get the demos completed first.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Never covers. Where does that even enter the picture just now? I don't see that entering the picture for a long time.
I don't know.
Covers.
We got the first take on one song, so recorded live as well here. Nicely done. Claire is saying, just absolutely loving the video, and all the background behind it is too. Barbara is saying, please make a movie about your life, Julian, please.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, you've already lived it. Why would you want to go through it again, right?
Well, I will confess, I'm, in the throes of putting a memoir together.
That would be amazing.
But not in the normal way that one would do. I find them quite boring, to be honest. I was born here. These are my parents. This happened. No, no, no. So I came up. I came up with a mad idea to approach it in a totally different way, which is unique. And there's a lot of other things that go around that too. It's not just the memoir, but. Time will tell to and see how that all pans out and how it works. It's early days yet, but it's one of the focuses and one of my missions over the course of the next while
Yeah,
to get that done, to achieve that. So
that's great news.
yeah. So fingers crossed on that I'll it'll be sooner than later, but I can't rush that kind of stuff.
No.
It has to be right.
Absolutely. I think it's a great approach too. You're right. I mean, and not to mention, you've been fairly prolific throughout your life and your careers. And so, a lot is known. So you have to take a little bit of a different creative tact, I think.
Well, sure, but also on the other hand, I also want to correct some misinformation as well.
Fair enough.
I mean, that has to be thrown in there at one point, but it certainly won't be the majority of the story. This is more of an emotional journey of what a mad life I've had.
Yeah.
It's
No
been
doubt.
extreme. It's been very strange, and the fact that I still have some element of sanity at the end of the day.
It's miraculous.
I'm shocked.
You should be commended. I mean, it's pretty amazing accomplishment, and it started before you were even born, right? I mean, you entered a very unnatural, unusual set of surroundings.
Yeah, but also left it very early too, which is what a lot of people really don't understand.
That's right.
A lot of people haven't quite clicked on that one yet.
Yeah. Which, by the way, means that there will not be a chapter entitled "Hey Jude." Right? Sorry, I keep bringing it up, but I'm just trying to put the exclamation point on there.
Oh, I didn't think of that one. How naughty of you. Well, if I do it, it'll be down to. I'll have to credit you for that, Steve.
Yeah, in parentheses, the last word. I think that's how you just put an end to it.
Well, yes. Well, that could very well be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a great day to be a Julian Lennon, for that matter, music fan, or those that appreciate great art. So fortunate to have this extremely limited EP. You've already had a taste of two of the tracks. We're going to get to the other two very quickly. It's entitled Because, 4 great new songs. The bar is extraordinarily high. These are not afterthoughts or songs that sound like they were left off an album because they didn't cut it in terms of the strength of the material. It's extraordinary stuff. And also, I just want to get into the record. Is the world's first injection molded ecosonic record crafted from non-toxic PET plastic. That's recyclable and better for the plastic. And it's as rich and dynamic sounding as classic vinyl. You won't even know the difference.
Oh, yeah.
And pressed at 45 RPM, which also enhances the listening experience. And it's direct to disc printing, which is pretty amazing. So instead of paper center labels, reducing waste. So once again, Julian's put extraordinary amount of thought and delivered an incredibly unique project and product. We have an extremely limited number, and once they're gone, they're gone. Click that right arrow. If you don't see it, there's still EPs left. You can't get it in any store or online, and it's pretty amazing. And I also wanted to mention, too, we have the extraordinary book, Life's Fragile Moments, resurfacing. The demand was so high, these are not easy to print. They're back in stock, and Julian has graciously agreed to sign copies for you fans, again, limited, because he needs a year to recover from us at Talk Shop Live after these events. So once they're gone, they're gone. And you know what? The holiday season's upon us. I cannot think of a greater, more unique gift you can give someone that you care about, the gift of music and beautiful art. And that includes yourself. You deserve a gift. You all have worked hard, man, at the end of the day. Let's check out the third track from Julian's brand new EP, because another great one. Here's Keep on Searching. Man, I love this track. Another Julian original. Man, I love your vocal approach, too. Great pop tune. So glad this one surfaced and you shared it with his fans. And by the way, I failed to mention it, but lyrics are exceptionally strong, too. This track in particular, great story. And I threw out Elvis Costello. I couldn't help but think Elvis is going to hear this and go, boy, that surely would have fit nicely in my catalog as far as pop song.
Very kind.
Jewels.
Very kind of you to say.
No plagiarism here whatsoever, however. But just has, and you could tell whether or not you were having fun shooting the video. You can tell you're having a great time because of the song itself.
Yeah, it's again, it's just this whole boppy, beboppy, up tempo tap. Being there with it, blasted on the speaker in that warehouse space was it was great. It was fun. Here's a very, very quick funny story. The guy, a dear friend Cash, who was dealing with the music, had the tracks on his phone, and so when we were getting ready to record, he would press play, and we'd start filming. But he had to go to the bathroom. So he took his phone with him, of course.
Yeah.
And while we're in the middle of filming, the track stops and we're going, what? Anyway, that's why you had to be there, I guess. But it was funny, not funny at the time.
No doubt. Yeah, in retrospect, for sure. And thankfully, there was no microphone in the restroom to capture the moment.
This is true.
Yes, but just a wonderful track. I want to slide in this last one because great story behind it. You touched on the fact that Andrew was involved with it.
Yeah.
But boy, you talk about a great closer. I mean, from top to bottom, and typically you start out with a couple of strong tracks and there's some wonderful material after that. And I don't mean you specifically, but as a music fan, you kind of prepare yourself to say, okay, there'll be some twists and turns with the material down the road as you're listening to an album or an EP. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily hold up in terms of standards. Quite the contrary. The material just seems to amp up, and I Won't Give Up, I think, it's just an extraordinary track and a great one to close out this EP. So let's check out from Because Julian's new EP, I Won't Give Up. Sam, if you would once again, please roll the digital.
Today's the day she sent my letter back. Today's the day it all went wrong. I've written words that don't belong to anyone. Love has come undone. All is changing. Our broken hearts were saving now, but I won't give up.
We can't give too much of that one away. It's not released yet.
Yeah, apparently not. Boy, I wanted to play the chorus. I don't know. I might have had a technical glitch, but let me tell you, the chorus
Yeah.
is the payoff for sure.
Yeah,
The
you need a lighter for this one.
you
Yeah,
do. I mean,
it's one of those arena rock kind of songs, but
some
yeah,
observations. Yeah,
I
I was
thought
just
it was appropriate for the end of the, it was like, thank you very much and good night,
yeah.
for the end of this EP. So well, I was very conscious about, the how the tracks were laid out on this, and not
It's
not that
evident.
anyone is more important than the other, but again, there's always a flow, and I feel it feels right. It felt right.
It absolutely is the appropriate song and killer track. It's gorgeous. I mean, and by the way, I mean vocals, just stellar. And
Thank you.
as we heard it, it's just a great ballad form, and it morphs into this amazing anthemic chorus. And
Mm,
Jules, I'm not to put something else on your plate, and we're hearing it from a
sure.
lot of fans all over the world, but man, I would pay good money to hear this one performed live, and that would send chills up people's spines, no doubt.
Well, thank you. Listen, my intention is to get out there at some point. I'm not a road dog. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not really, a practicing musician as such. So, if and when I go on the road, it's going to take me a long time to relearn every song I've ever written. But I definitely would like to do that. I can't say exactly when yet, because of other
Of
work
course.
and the exhibitions and the memoir and stuff. But listen, I've even the last real performances I did were from Photograph Smile,
Wow.
and so personally, I'd love, and I'm sad that I haven't got around to it yet, but I wanted to play Everything Changes live,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's a biggie for me and still is a biggie for me.
Yeah.
And now with Jude on top of that as well, I mean, these two are key material that I would love, love, love to play live. And likelihood is we'll tie it in with, the White Feather Foundation and Beautiful Theatres, and try and do some good in each of the locations that we play.
So great.
But I do have a dream that I've been talking to my manager Rebecca about, which is, one of my favorite venues in the world is the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm very much liking the idea of, not necessarily having a night with, but certainly taking all the stuff that I've always wanted to sing and play live, with a partial or full orchestra, maybe a few guests. I'd love to do that there,
Oh, yeah.
in a year or two, or when we can consider that, because I do want to do that. I do miss performing live. Excuse me, and so I want to do it with a great band sounding great, and put
Yes.
on a great show. So hopefully in the not too distant future,
Well,
we'll get to it.
just so you know, you're blowing up the internet with that concept of you performing live. I mean, it's a
Really?
resounding please, please. And it's not just here in the US, that's globally. There's so many there. And you know what? I mean, with today's technology, at the tail end of a series of dates, you can share it with everyone, via live stream or the internet. So,
This is
and
true.
talk about helping a great cause, that'll just further
Yeah.
help up the ante for sure. And again, I just
Yeah.
want to remind everyone that we're here celebrating Julian on so many fronts, but this amazing EP, and again, it's very limited, and it's pressed in a very unique and very sensible and sensitive way as far as our earth is concerned, because the making of vinyl is kind of old school and not necessarily the best interest of our planet. I'm afraid to say, and so kudos to you for that. It's also on 45 RPM, which means that you're getting great sonic quality on all fronts. And if we didn't share this Echosonic conversation with anyone out there, you would not even know. I mean, it replicates
I tell you, just to interject very briefly,
Please.
Steve. I was in LA doing setting up and doing the videos, and the vinyls arrived, and I obviously wanted to hear the test prints. And the funny thing was, the only person that had a record player was a great vocal producer and engineer called Dave Way, who's done some incredible stuff. And he lives, funnily enough, in my old house in Los Angeles from like 26, 27, 28 years ago.
What are the odds of that happening?
And I was staying around the corner from there, so amazing. I went round to his place, and he had the turntable set up with some great speakers. And I've got to tell you, I hadn't heard vinyl for a long time. And we put the track on, we put the EP on, and I have to say, I was blown away to the extent that I'm now buying a good turntable and another setup just to hear great music again, because the quality and the sound of that is unlike anything else. It truly is. There's a warmth and a depth and a character to vinyl that you just cannot compare any other sound system to or setup to.
You and I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was great to hear that, the test vinyls and go and truly give it a real thumbs up. I wasn't sure it was going to affect me that way, but it did, and I was happily surprised. Truly.
Appreciate you sharing that story. And again, I want to remind everyone, you can purchase Because, and you can only get it here, again, on this unique pressing Echosonic. And these are 4 amazing songs. There's no greater way to show how much you appreciate this brilliant artist than by owning his latest musical body of work. And don't forget that we now have additional information to share with you, and that is there's been another reprint of this incredible book that he spent years working on. I can't think of a greater holiday gift than Life's Fragile Moments. It's just absolutely beautiful, top to bottom.
Speaking of Elvis Costello, there you go.
Exactly right on cue for sure. It's a must known. Absolutely, and signed. He graciously agreed to sign for you fans as well. So it's a keepsake and heirloom on all fronts for sure. Just hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live. For those of you on Instagram and Facebook, comment the word shop, and we'll DM you a link. Click on the link, and the rest is quick and easy. So, Julian, what does the balance of 2025 hold for you, sir? Yes, take a breath.
Well, let me see. Some other charity work with AMFAR, which is an organization that's looking for the cure for AIDS. That's coming up shortly. One more exhibition to round off this year. In Portugal in November. In Lisbon, and at a new gallery called Ophelia, and the memoir really, and fingers crossed on finally getting the deal done on the house.
Yes, we're pulling for you there. You got to put that behind you, man.
I don't want to be in limbo anymore. Please.
Look, we haven't met in person, meeting face to face, other than through these forums. But man, if I have to come out there and close the deal, you just tell me where to meet you, man. I'll help make that happen.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Just before we close, I have to have a shout out to Dr. Tess. Thank you in LA, and Geach in New York. Love you. And all my friends out there that I don't get to see enough of. I had to put that out there.
Well, by all means, the only rules
are
yours.
The fans too.
Yeah, all the fans. There's so many of them, and globally too. I mean, we were blowing up the chat line, and sorry we couldn't get to everyone, but the amount of love and appreciation for you as a person, not just as an artist and as a creative, is pretty impressive. So don't ever take
Truly
for granted.
thankful.
Yeah.
Truly thankful. Always am. Always am.
So thank you, fans, for being here this evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. And special thanks also to Rebecca Warfield of 724 Management, passionate, as I said before, truly engaged with her clients and providing great representation. No, I don't get a kickback if she signs someone from this event, just for the record, that's spoken from the heart. Yeah. And also a special shout out to Ellie Jackson, who also jumped through hoops to give us what we needed here from 724. And Tesulo Koukouris, I hope I got the last name right. Forgive me, I didn't get phonetic spelling. And all our fulfillment partners that will ship soon the vinyl from All Media Supply, and also those great books from Reader Link. And to Brian, Tina, Brad, Joe, Jenny, Lavani, Marty, Kate, Brendan, and behind the scenes doing a wonderful job as always, Sam, all from Talk Shop Live. But most importantly, thank you, Julian Lennon, for continuing to share your extraordinary creative gifts with all of us. Any last words you'd like to share with the fans, Jules, before we part company today?
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me for so many years and for the continued support. It makes every difference hearing your support and connecting with you through the socials, and hopefully one day in person on stage. We'll get around to it. And thanks to everybody out there. Just take care of yourselves and each other. It's these are tough times right now, and we all need to love each other and remember what that's all about. And I send my love to everybody out there. And wish you only the best moving forward in life, and try to keep balance and stay happy and as best as you can. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful words that we can all aspire and apply going forward. These are interesting times for sure, and I can't think of a better way to navigate through that than picking up a copy of Jules' EP, because just brilliant, only here on Talk Shop Live, and that incredible fine art photography book. It's absolutely a keepsake, Life's Fragile Moments, autographed by the man himself. And while you're at it, you know what, pick up copies for your friends and family. It's a unique gift that will last a lifetime. Music and art, I say this with all sincerity, truly is the gift that keeps on giving. And let's face it, the go-to during the holiday season is often the gift card. And frankly, that could be pretty lame, because when that amount is exhausted, that card has no value. Worse, it becomes landfill. So give the wonderful gift of Julian Lennon. Your friends and family will thank you for it. And you all have worked hard. You deserve to reward yourself as well. And I also have it on good authority, and it's really true, that it will enhance all of your quality of life out there. So cool. Julian, thanks so much for being here, man. I always look forward to hanging out with you, and what a great gift you've given us once again.
Too kind. Thank you, Steve and team. You make it effortless. Effortless. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
See you next time around.
I look forward to that for sure. Everyone, you know what? Stay safe, enjoy life, as Jules said, and rock on. We'll have one more track for you to listen to. It'll be a replay. And with that, so long, everybody. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Because I love you so, I can't forgive the way you let me go. And I was sure you were so true, but I've been left here all alone to face the truth. How could you be so cold? chasing life without a dream. But you forget sometimes it's hard to shoot.